On this episode of AV Week, we talk about the new elections at InfoComm's board. Also talk about AV over IP and where we are with that technology. All that and more. Next on AV Week.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
AV Week is brought to you by our fine group of underwriters, companies like Vadio. This is AV Week, episode 225, recorded Friday, December 11th, 2015. Accommodate all technologies.
Ready.
AV Week.
Performing scan.
Week.
Online.
This is AV Week. AV Week. This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of audiovisual news and information. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. With us this week, my buddy, my pal from Proxima, Mr. Sam Malik. How are you, sir?
Hey, how are you, Tim? Good to see you.
Doing good. Sam's doing some cool things we're going to talk about here in a second. Also with us is Ken Eagle. Ken is from Atlanta. How are you, sir?
Tim, I'm great. Thank you.
Also with us from Avenview, Mr. Ed. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
And last but not least, last time I saw her was in beautiful Washington, D.C., Andrea Medeiros, editor at Tech Home Builder. How are you?
Hi, great. How are you?
Doing well. Actually, last time I saw Ken, and no, Ed, I saw you since then. Last time I saw Ken was actually at the CECI Summit, and I tried to take over his presentation. So it was lots of fun. He just kept asking questions, and I knew the answer to them. I can't help it that I'm smart in some situations. Real quickly, and I don't want to take too much time on this, but Sam, you guys have done something really cool. Called you a couple weeks ago just to see, hey, how are you? Da, 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 da. Oh, yeah, by the way, I took over the freaking company. So in a 30 to 60 second Chicago fastness, what exactly is going on with you and Proxima?
Oh, yeah, by the way, I took over the freaking company.
Well, we had having a lot of fun over here. We were formerly ASK Proxima, a Chinese-owned company, and things were going quite well in the U.S. However, that company failed and stopped producing projectors. Left us high and dry for about 4 or 5 months, but things were going quite well. So I decided to continue our work, what we were doing, and I purchased the company and was able to secure the Proxima trademark, which is kind of funny because 15 years ago when I entered this industry, Proxima was one of my biggest competitors and one of the industry pioneers, and still a great legacy brand name of products. So now we are focused on 5 to 12,000 lumen projectors for rental and staging, house of worship, higher education, large corporate venues, and we're charging forward.
All right. Good for you. I was taken a little back. So I was like, dude, cool. I just think it's cool. And I like Sam. Sam's always been nice. And if you didn't know, Sam actually previously ran Sanyo until Panasonic bought him, actually. So, all right, kids, let's kick this off. Ken, we'll start with you. InfoComm membership elects its 2016 board. This comes to us by way of Sound and Communications magazine. The InfoComm International has announced the election results for the 2016 InfoComm International Board of Directors and Leadership Committee, LSC. Jillian Phillips from Whitlock is Secretary-Treasurer of the board. InfoComm members also elected is Jeff Day, Kevin Kelly, and he's from Stampede. Also from the LSC is, dadgummit. Oh, yeah, Zane, from Shen Milsom Wilkie. Easy for me to say. So, Ken, first off, are we good with this board? Are we okay with this board? Are we okay kind of where InfoComm has been headed over the last 6 months or so?
Well, I think so. It's kind of yet to be seen. I mean, Julian's a familiar face coming back. I think, Kevin Kelly is a guy with a lot of energy. So, we work with him regularly, and I like what he's done with Stampede. And I think he's got a good beat on the industry. So, I think there's some interesting points there. that being said, over the past several years, I've done a lot of work with InfoComm. We travel around and do a lot of regional events with them, different speaking engagements. In the last year and a half, I've probably done a little bit less than I would like to do. And I do know, since the changing of the guard, since we've got new leadership in there, you've had a couple of senior players and the InfoComm team leave, which is interesting. So I think we'll kind of see how that shakes out, and seeing some of these names on the board. I think there's some good people there, but I'd like to see it stay strong. It's kind of at a critical point. I think right now it's a great organization. I think it's got the right message. We've seen a similar organization like CEDIA, who I think has had some more struggles maintaining membership in recent years. So I don't want to see that similar thing happen to InfoComm, and I think they're getting the right people in there to keep it pushing ahead internationally as well.
You said that they're kind of at a critical time. Is that because of the changes that we've had over the last few months?
Yeah, it's because of the changes, and I just think I think it's more than that. I think it's because of where the industry's at right now. We've been what I would say kind of level for a while with a set of technology that everybody's gotten familiar with, and we've been using some of these digital technologies in conference rooms and in transmission and in different places. I think over the next couple of years, we're going to see a shift in some of that with the transition to AV over IP, and with us going with more networks being more global, more accessible in more places. I think you're seeing a new level of younger people coming into the market, different education, different players, different tools, different communication medium, and I think you got to have the right people at InfoComm to keep up with that, because it's a critical group, and it needs to. It's kind of a glue, in a way, a glue that holds a lot of our industry together, I think.
Absolutely is.
So I think we got to keep it strong.
All right.
I agree with Ken entirely, and the great mix of the board of directors is they have a full coverage of system integrators, leading system integrators, some design and architect type faces I've seen there in the past as well as hardware manufacturers and distributors. So combined together, I think it can add a lot of visionary work for the future. What new stuff is coming, because these 4 or 5 main contributors to the industry, will end up determining where the industry is moving to. Architects and design engineers are the front lines to the the building side of things. The system integrators are taking all that and implementing all the new ideas, right? And hardware manufacturers like ourselves are working with the integrators to provide that mix. So I think the whole picture comes together with a nice mix of people from different industries, and all providing the same end result, but doing their part. And having a mix of that on the board, I think, is very important. Not just only system integrators or only hardware manufacturers. The mix is really going to help.
Well, and Ed, go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I agree with Ed and everybody that it's about time we get some new blood in there. I've been an InfoComm member for 18 years now, going back to the days of the shootout. So I'm older than I look, maybe, but it's about time of the changing of the guard. I'm really kind of excited to see Kevin Kelly get involved. He's young, very energetic. He knows what's going on with the industry today. I think he'll contribute a lot. But for InfoComm to survive, these changes, bringing all the integration together, need to happen. We can't just be that old, hey, we're projector business, AV industry. There's a lot more to it these days. So it's good changes. Good to see the changes on the board.
Well, and Andrea, from your perspective, because Andrea does a lot of from both ends, and also she covers a lot of residential and home building. When it comes to these organizations, these trade organizations, how important is it to, like Sam said, get fresh blood in there every once in a while?
It's definitely important to get fresh blood, but just to be honest, I've never been to InfoComm. We actually put our own shows on, incorporating system integrators and builders and whatnot. And we've noticed, especially when we've put our board together for Tech Home X, which is the new trade show that we're launching, you definitely have to have diversity on the board and diversity at the shows, because with all the new technology coming out right now, you need to have the designers and the integrators and all of these people coming from different facets together, because with all the new technology, the design of the home, you're going to have to take the technology into account because everything's talking to each other. So I think not only having new blood, but having kind of the diversity on the board is really important when you're talking about shows like this, especially today.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
Go ahead.
No, don't. Go ahead.
Well, I totally agree with Andrea. I mean, InfoComm, I think it's a great organization, but they've been slowing down, kind of dying. So hopefully with these new board members, they'll infuse some new energy into it and bring that whole picture together. I totally agree.
Dying's a strong word, Sam.
Well, I watched Comdex die. I watched CBS.
All right.
I mean, it needs to evolve. I think it's an important organization for everybody in this industry, but if it evolves and stays current, then it's a good resource for everybody.
Okay. All right. I'll get you that. From AV Interactive, IP and the new video workflow. This is from one of their bloggers. Quote, unquote, of all the changes currently underway in the professional video industry, IP is without question the biggest and most important once-in-a-decade transformation to date, bringing with it impactful core pipeline changes and a shift from analog tape, which is an interesting connection, to file-based workflows, says Andrew Cross, president and CTO at NewTek. All right. So Andrew is obviously has some skin in this game. NewTek is the makers of the TriCaster, and I'm not going to get into the history of where they've been, but they've been hardware based or software based and file based video folks for a long time. Ed, we'll kick this one off with you. Where are we and where are we going here when it comes to not just file based but also transporting video over the network and making that happen?
Well, HDMI over IP has come a long way since its inception, and we first had the limitations of having dedicated HDMI just over IP, and now we have the availability of running all technologies on the same network. We are, sorry, can you just repeat that part about the question again? Yeah,
just where are we at when it comes to transporting just AV video. This guy is Andrew's talking about video specifically because that's what NewTek does. It primarily, obviously, there's audio transport along with that. But where are we at?
So I'll continue what we were discussing about. Mainly the hardware has evolved. Many chipsets have come out to allow you to do HDMI over IP. Now there's units available that will let you take and broadcast it over the internet, share video on the internet connection with other technologies, whether it's voice, data, what have you. But the main thing where I see this going is cloud-based video over IP services, right? Right now, we're seeing companies that are coming out and services that are coming out with this, but given the 4K aspect and the large bandwidth, there's not, we're still waiting for the technology to evolve on that side for online, video streaming for 4K. As far as just hardware products out there to allow you to take video distributed, whether it's through video walls, do matrix switch scenarios in, like, for example, sports bars, control rooms. We're seeing that available today, and it's becoming the number one choice as opposed to going with the old matrix switchers.
Okay. Ken, you guys have got from Atlanta. You guys have had interesting history over the last, let's say, 3 to 4 years when it comes to video IP. Atlona had their own proprietary, and correct me anytime I'm wrong here, you guys' your own codecs that you guys kind of you made yourself. And I want to say about 6 months ago or so, you started integrating some HD-based stuff as well. So you guys have got a unique perspective on this because you've seen it a couple different ways. Where do you guys see video over IP and whether it's point-to-point, multicast, singlecast, wherever?
So let me start by saying first, I completely agree with the author of this article, AV over IP being the single biggest or most important technology of our current decade right here. But let me also say that this isn't brand new. This isn't just happening right now. As long as there's been IP, we've been talking about putting AV over IP. There are companies who have worked tirelessly, spending tons of manufacturing and design dollars trying to figure out how to do this. Every year for the last 10 or 15 years, we've seen products come out trying to be AV over IP. And all of those companies have allowed us, they've laid the groundwork for us to be where we are today, which is at a point where we can finally start actually realizing some quality AV over IP. And there's some great companies out there doing it right now. Now, to get to your point, at Lona, yes, we've done a number of things over the years. Obviously, ridden that digital wave. We watched the analog sunset, and we had analog products. We've gone to all HDMI and digital-based products. And you're right, we've now launched into HD-based T. We partnered with those guys when they first came out. We've been with HD-based T organization since the beginning. And in recent years, we really revamped our entire line so that every product category now features or is entirely built upon the HD-based T distribution model. It's a great product. It works wonderful. We really like it. However, going forward, the future is in IP. And we have already begun developing over IP products. And if you look at the Atlona product line currently today, nearly every product that we put out has an Ethernet port on it, which means every HD-based T product already sits on the IP network. It's controllable. You can do firmware updates. You can manage it from remotely. The next evolution now is distribution over that IP channel, and you will see from us products in mid-2016 coming out as AV over IP. We're absolutely going that direction. It is the future of the industry. It's where you'll see a number of manufacturers going down the road.
All right, so Mr. Malik, from a display point of view, Ken mentioned 2 or 3 different protocols there. He mentioned the fact that for Lona, almost every one of their products has an Ethernet port on the back. Get it. Totally agree. It's awesome that they do that. And the way I'm going to phrase this question, it might seem a little unfair. You guys have to either make a decision, like make a conscious effort to say, okay, we think we're going to put all of our money in 1 or 2 baskets, and we think this technology is going to make it, so we're going to put an Ethernet port on the back of our projectors and make sure that it accepts X, Y, or Z. You can do that, or you can do, we're just going to give you an HDMI connector, right? And you guys kind of figure it out. Which way do you kind of lean? Are you guys leaning more towards, hey, let's make sure that we have an Ethernet port so we can get this video over IP signal? Or are you guys more along the lines of, I'm going to give you a generic video input. You guys are going to have to figure out which technology is going to win here.
Yeah, it's a big challenge for us, Tim. At Proxima, everything we have has an Ethernet port built into it, as well as the traditional HDMI or VGA or VNC connection. So we're kind of forced, if we want to be accepted in every integration house, to have every connection possible. But yesterday we work on large house of worship projects. There's one going down in Chicago with 8 of our projectors, and they're all connected via Ethernet. That's the only connection to each of the projectors because they're mounted 45 feet up in the air. They want full command and control, and they want to deliver the media as well. We're spending a lot of time right now. I mean, projectors for the most part haven't changed all that much in the last 5 to 10 years. Some brightness plays, and of course the resolution has changed dramatically. But what has changed is your IP connection and what you have built into it. We're AMX, we're Crestron ready, we're we're happy to work with Atlona or anybody other manufacturer out there. But the real value, if we're going to sell large venue projectors now, is to have that connectivity available so that they can, stream the media to it and give them complete control over it. We have to do that to be competitive in today's environment.
Sam, you raised a good point here. Having Ethernet connections on a hardware, interactive hardware device is one thing to control the unit. But, like Sam just mentioned, your projectors are all equipped with Ethernet ports. You can HDMI over IP stream directly to the projector. That's where the requirements that we see every day on whether it's projectors, whether it's large screens or even video walls. People want the IP stream to go directly to the displays without having to put in a lot of hardware components. So if the projector is already capable of taking an IP stream in, we've been manufacturing video wall processors that have IP capture cards that you can just push directly, the feeds directly out to the projector. So that, the future, I think, is that the bail-ins are and the receivers are ultimately going to disappear, and it's just going to be an Ethernet port from your devices out to the projectors directly, and it's going to be an IP stream over HP or an IP stream over the internet that's just going to allow you to broadcast. We're already seeing those products today. We manufacture the HDMI over IP products in our point-to-point extenders, as well as our video wall controllers. And we also have the Blue River NT chip. That's a 4K HDMI over IP technology that's being implemented in quite a few of our products as well.
But
Tim, one other thing I would mention too is, while I say that the transition to AV over IP is the future and the direction, just like history has shown us up to now, that's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a little while, and we're not abandoning HDMI or HDBaseT or any of the interfaces that are out there right now. Those will continue to be around for several years and be viable solutions still. But we will continue to also grow in the way of AVIP.
Well, and let me ask you this, and this is actually all three of you. I don't care which one you answer. Does that not then put Sam and other display manufacturers alike in a bad spot where they've got to figure out which one y'all are going to go with when it comes to encoding?
Well, we have to be able to. We've got to follow the industry, and this is where it gets back to the value of InfoComm and what they bring. This integration thing where we have to partner up. I find myself spending a lot more of my time now at Proxima partnering up with Atlona and companies like that, so to make sure we have that connectivity capability that the integrators want to use. So it's kind of on us to make sure that we're keeping the right technology in our projectors to follow the flow of technology and give them the easiest tools. If you're a manufacturer that's doing that, and we're trying to be that company, it puts you, many steps ahead of everybody else that's not quite there. And the thing we're running into, we do all kinds of installs is they're running projectors and large screen flat panels, and everything's all integrated together and has to all be able to talk on pretty much one signal, one base. And the panels are very much up to date, much more up to date than a lot of projector companies are today. And if you're a projector company that can integrate easily, then you're going to win more business.
That makes sense.
I think the other thing to note too is a lot of these technologies are built on a standard. So let's say if we're going to upgrade to HDBaseT and a projector manufacturer wants to add HDBaseT, HDBaseT is a standard. So it's not like they got to figure out which HDBaseT to use. You just go to the standard of HDBaseT. The same thing when you go to IP. You got to say, do I want to go HDBaseT or IP if you have to make a choice? But at least they're standards. You're not looking at multiple different versions of the same technology.
Well, and let me bring this in, and Andrea, when it comes to you service the home builder market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is this something that they're worried about yet? Is this something where they're cabling for? They're putting, whether that's the cable infrastructure or the physical, rooms for this stuff?
It depends what level of builder you're talking to. If you're talking a high volume, I think when it comes to technology, they're really relying on wireless and access points.
Ooh.
But this video wall technology that's coming down the pipeline, I think it's kind of an untapped resource that's definitely trickling into the luxury market right now. And yeah, they would definitely be worried about running this stuff and working with an integrator to make sure that everything runs properly, because when you're talking to a builder, it's kind of like when you're talking to a consumer. They care about ease of use, they care about convenience, and they care about reliability. So part of this is, well, if you wire it in, there's more guarantee that it's going to work. But part of it is we're talking about the fear of not putting the right connector in anymore. And the builder's biggest concern is working on not only a source that's going to be reliable today, but that's going to be reliable 20 years down the road, so they're not dealing with callbacks. So those are definitely some of the things that builders are thinking about.
The problem with that is that we're not there anymore, right? I mean, this is not the years of the F connector and coax, right? I mean, this is I've got a buddy of mine that built a house 10 years ago, and he's already switching out things because
exactly.
It just,
I really wish I had Cat 5 through my entire house.
Yeah.
I mean, because wireless is sweet, but for 4K video, it's not
you're
going to
not getting there.
At least not today. And rather than have, coax, which my house is older has, man, I'd love Cat 5 in every room. That would make life so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then 20 years from now, we're going to be talking about something else that we wish we had run through our house. So it's really about building relationships and making sure, one of you had mentioned it, making sure we stay informed on all of the levels of the marketplace to be sure that we're delivering the product, especially on the residential side, to the consumer that they're going to be happy with 10 years down the line.
Here's what we need to do. You get yourself, and whoever takes this owes me 10%. You go out and you find a builder that does nothing but 20 pairs of single mode fiber in every single room. That'll solve it for at least 20 years. All right.
I'd like to add one more thing
Ed.
to the home side of things. On the HDMI over IP on the home side, like you said, Sam, you want Cat 5 has become a standard over the last 15 years. Mm-hmm. And all the homes that I've seen built, even whether not custom homes, even builder homes, they're putting standard Cat 5s in all the homes. What we're seeing more and more now is that it's not just video; it's everything is collaborating over the network. A lot of the new homes that are being built the bell doesn't even come in there anymore. It's voice, data, cable, everything is over. There's just one network switch in there, and everything is connecting through IP. So, that's the big change. As a video over IP company and manufacturing hardware for the last 10 years, what we've seen is that it's not just accommodating a video. The future is for us to be successful, and for every other hardware company to be successful, is to accommodate all the technologies that are coming into a company or a home or a building, and accommodate voice and data and broadcasting and cable TV. All those technologies need to be over the network, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's definitely what we're seeing on all levels of the builder marketplace.
Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting there are multiple different types of category cable that can be installed, and Cat 5 was one of the first real ones that really took off and was around for so long. I think by default we all say Cat 5 a lot, but there's Cat 6, there's Cat 6A, which things like the HD-based T-Spec are built off, and even Cat 7. So if you are building a new home or even a business, it's important to look at the different types of category cable and make sure you pick the one that's right to support your future needs.
Agreed.
Absolutely, I agree.
All right. As we wrap up here, Andrea has a couple of stories that her area is talking about. So, Andrea, what are you guys talking about?
Actually, one of the stories really wraps up what we were just talking about. It's in the high volume market, kind of dipping in to this idea that everything has to run on the network. Party Homes has partnered with Luxel and Eagle Century, which is an integration firm out of the Vegas area, and they're offering wireless as a standard. So they're putting in the Luxel XBR 4400 router and then the XAP 1500 access point as a standard in these homes, hoping that that'll appeal to millennials. And this is one of many high volume builders. So these are entry-level homes for some people that they're making sure that there's a strong network in there. And we have seen a huge trend with this because we're not only talking about thermostats, we're talking about video, we're talking about voice control, we're talking about doorbells, we're talking about everything being connected. So that's kind of what we're working on right now. Our big focus is on Tech Home X. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that event, it's a new trade show that we're launching in March. It'll be different. We're calling it a first of its kind trade show. I don't know if you've been to our builder events or CECI Summit, which we put on, but this will incorporate the entire tech home ecosystem. So not just builders, not just integrators, they'll be there together with contractors, with realtors, which a lot of people have been really excited about because who do we look to sell our homes? Realtors. So we need them to understand the technology. So it'll be everyone who is involved with putting the tech home together without building materials being there. So it'll just be people in one place that are interested in technology and in the home of the future. So those are a few of the things we're working on right now.
All right, very good. The realtor part I had never thought of. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap us up. Mr. Ed from AVNview, thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me, and nice meeting all of you.
Where can people find you and AVNview?
You can find me at avnview.com, AVNview on Facebook, AVNview on Twitter, and Ednan C on Twitter.
All right, very good. Ms. Medeiros, thank you as always, ma'am.
Thank you. You can find me on techhomebuilder.com. I'm also on Facebook under my name. We also have a Tech Home Builder on Facebook. We have that on LinkedIn. We have that on Twitter.
Ken, we'll try to do this with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Ken Eagle and through LinkedIn and on Twitter. Also, I recommend everybody jump out to atlonaacademy.com. Great educational site that we host. It's completely free. There's an education portal on there. It carries both CEDIA and InfoComm accredited certification courses. Definitely worth your time.
All right, very good. And last but not least, Mr. Malik, sir, where can people find you and or Proxima?
Hey, Tim. Yeah, you can reach us at proximadisplays.com. And everybody's invited to join me on LinkedIn. I created a group a few years ago called AV Industry Professionals, referring to InfoComm. We have twice as many members, 34,000 active members. So everybody's invited to join. It's free of charge. avindustry.com.
All right, very good. Yeah, that's it's a little bitty group. What do you got? Like 30,000 now? 35,000?
34,000.
34. Let's round it up and make it 35,000. My name is Tim Albright. Don't follow me, but go by the website if you would, please. AVNation.tv. AVNation.tv. You'll find this program and a host of others. One really cool program that you're going to find starting today, actually. We're recording this on Friday the 11th. Yesterday, Thursday the 10th, George Tucker, Chris Netto, Bill O'Donnell, Mr. Puma, a bunch of folks hung out with the nice folks at Sapphire Marketing, Laney Medeiros, and Marla from Sapphire Marketing did their Christmas show, their Christmas party. So it was a live broadcast. It was kind of cool. Check that out if you would, please. That'll be on our website as well. So avnation.tv, avnation.tv. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. This has been AV Week.